This is how narcissists manage those they can't manipulate. Navigating the narcissist's response. Once a narcissist realizes that you are genuinely interested in them, their usual tactics lose their effectiveness. Being nice no longer serves their agenda, and they understand that playing the victim won't elicit the desired sympathy from you. With your feelings no longer under their control, you become less valuable to them. However, this doesn't necessarily mean they will cease their interactions with you. Even if they can't manipulate you directly, they may attempt to exert influence through other people in your circle. Unfortunately, many narcissists don't swiftly move on to their next target. They often have multiple individuals in their crosshairs, seeking to inflict harm wherever possible. Frustration mounts for narcissists when they encounter resistance or are unable to obtain what they desire. Whether you've called out their manipulative behavior, established firm boundaries, or severed ties altogether, the narcissist recognizes when their psychological games are no longer effective. Today, I'll discuss 3 strategies that narcissists employ when faced with individuals they cannot control or manipulate. Depending on your relationship with the narcissist, you may have experienced one or all of these tactics. However, it's essential to understand that the narcissist perceives you as a significant threat. Their discomfort arises from encountering someone who exhibits strength and intelligence in navigating their manipulative tactics, exacerbating their insecurities and prompting them to seek ways to undermine your influence. Schemes to diminish you. When a narcissist realizes they can't bend you to their will, their next move is to diminish your value. This can manifest in various ways. They may attempt to tarnish your reputation or engineer situations to cast you in a negative light. Backstabbing, spreading falsehoods, or launching full-scale smear campaigns are common tactics employed by narcissists to damage your standing. Their aim is to isolate you and turn others against you. Manipulative individuals believe that if they can't control you directly, they must prevent you from thriving independently. Consequently, they seek to sabotage your relationships, even if they cannot directly harm you. Even with strong defenses, a narcissist may exploit individuals in your circle who are less resilient or discerning, leveraging them against you. Their ultimate goal is to erode trust in you among as many people as possible, ensuring that any attempt to expose their behavior falls on deaf ears. The competitive streak. When narcissists lose control over someone, they often resort to intense competitiveness. Unable to exert influence directly, they strive to outperform you in every aspect. Despite their inability to control you, they are determined to prove their superiority. Constantly comparing their achievements to yours, they eagerly await your misfortunes. The narcissist desires a grander house, a more luxurious car, a more attractive partner, and a superior job. If you have one child, they'll aim for 2. They may fabricate success and accrue debt to maintain the facade of a superior lifestyle. For narcissists, once their control tactics fail, everything becomes a contest. Even though they habitually feign success and happiness, they desperately need to perceive themselves as outshining you. Farewell time. When a narcissist can no longer exert control over someone, their final recourse is often to ignore or isolate them. The narcissist finds it too painful to be around someone who has slipped from their grasp or whose life they can't influence. They prefer not to waste any more energy on individuals who see through their facade of lies. Such individuals make the covert narcissist feel profoundly uneasy. Thus, the narcissist departs for greener pastures where they can ensnare and manipulate new victims, as being near someone who may expose their deceit is deemed too risky. Parting thoughts. Ultimately, it's crucial to recognize that for narcissists, maintaining control is paramount. When they fail to bend someone to their will, it represents a loss of control that they cannot abide. Instead of accepting defeat gracefully, they often seek to tarnish your reputation before departing or clandestinely undermine your accomplishments. Narcissists never take kindly to being abandoned. They harbor a burning desire for retribution against those who slipped from their grasp. All they require is an opportunity. Therefore, it's imperative never to allow them back into our lives. That concludes today's discussion, but I'm eager to hear your thoughts and experiences. Please share your feedback and personal anecdotes in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Wishing everyone a fantastic week ahead, and thank you for tuning in. I totally get where you're coming from. I understand your drive and the reasons behind considering such actions, especially given how they've treated you. But let me make one thing clear. This isn't about seeking vengeance. We'll delve into that in the video. Hey there, everyone. I trust you're all hanging in there. So, you're thinking about shaking things up and pondering the idea of dismantling their influence. I completely feel you on that. I really do. There's a straightforward method that might just do the trick. It might sound simple on paper, but in reality, it's no walk in the park. I get that it involves a series of steps, and not everyone's cut out for it. But hey, you've got what it takes. Now let's chat about dealing with a narcissist. First things first, I'm not advocating for any harmful actions toward another individual. Let's not forget, narcissists are people too, even if some of you might strongly disagree with me on that. But let's switch gears here. I understand why you're keen to tackle this issue, and it's not about tearing them down as individuals. It's about employing savvy strategies to handle them. Ultimately, the aim is to cut them out of our lives. And to do that, you've got to remove yourself from their orbit. You need to vanish from their radar and withdraw your energy, making it seem like you're no longer on their wavelength. This tactic will effectively take down the narcissist, in a manner of speaking. However, if you're determined to keep this person out of your life, action is necessary. I understand that not everyone can easily do this, especially if there are shared responsibilities like children or assets. But you can still minimize your contact with them. Remember, narcissists thrive on emotional connections, even if they don't genuinely feel emotions themselves. They crave emotional validation and are keen on understanding your thoughts, feelings, and motivations. They know you well and can predict your behaviors based on their observations. So, it's crucial to handle this situation strategically, focusing on reducing contact and being mindful of the emotional aspect. The priority is to protect yourself and ultimately sever any ties with the narcissist. The narcissist has been closely watching you, your body language, your expressions. For them, this is their lifeline. They're like predators, relying on these cues. They have a heightened sensitivity to such details because they need to gauge your reactions. They've meticulously studied your triggers and can anticipate your responses. However, by withholding this information, you become unpredictable to the narcissist. They can't predict your next move, your behavior, or your thoughts anymore because they've lost that insight. Your absence and lack of communication leave them bewildered. This perplexity deeply unsettles them, prompting the question, what's happening here? Deprived of their expected validation, narcissists face an inner turmoil. Validation is crucial for them, a fundamental need they relentlessly pursue. If you seek validation from a narcissist, understand that obtaining it requires manipulation. They won't readily offer it. You must coerce them into providing it. Initially compliant, they quickly grow bored, necessitating the narcissist to devise alternative tactics. Gaslighting and deceit may become tools to extract validation, compelling them to act against their true desires. It's important to emphasize that engaging in manipulative behaviors like gaslighting and lying is neither encouraged nor endorsed. Healthy and honest interactions should always be prioritized in any relationship. Using gaslighting, narcissists manipulate you into compliance, forcing actions contrary to your authentic self. Consider how it feels to act against your will, compromising your integrity. Initially, you may suppress your discomfort, repeating this cycle despite recognizing its dissonance. However, a tipping point arrives when you realize this isn't acceptable. Refusing to fulfill their desires, you inadvertently disrupt their core need for validation. Though not immediately apparent, narcissists depend on validation, constantly seeking it to validate their existence. However, if they're denied this validation, it hits them hard. They feel utterly devastated, ignored, and invisible, triggering deep wounds from their childhood. Just as their parents or caregivers might have treated them by disregarding their needs, the narcissist adopts a similar approach with you. When you fail to comply, they resort to either ignoring you or punishing you, echoing the behavior they experienced in their formative years. Sadly, no one intervened to address this harmful pattern, leaving them to believe it was acceptable. Consequently, they perpetuate this cycle, using manipulation to shape you into fulfilling their desires and expectations. When you withhold validation and attention, the narcissist experiences profound distress. Despite the presence of others who could potentially offer validation, they might specifically desire it from you. You could be their primary source of the validation, love, and attention they crave. There might be something unique about what you provide that fulfills their needs in a way others cannot. Hence, their fixation on obtaining validation from you is intense. It serves a specific purpose and boosts their self-esteem. Denying them this validation has a devastating impact, as it undermines their sense of power and confidence. In their perception, the more validation they receive, the greater their sense of self-worth and superiority. Imagine their perspective, a childhood marked by neglect, where insignificance was their constant companion, and their existence barely acknowledged. Something within them shifted during those formative years. Now, they relentlessly seek validation from any available source to compensate for the neglect they endured. One or two sources of validation aren't enough. They hunger for an ever-expanding audience. The more validation they receive, the more significant they feel. It becomes their lifeline, their way of being seen and acknowledged in the world. So, when this validation is suddenly withdrawn, it devastates them. Just one person retracting their validation serves as a stark reminder, triggering feelings of inadequacy and reinforcing their belief that they are unworthy of attention. These reminders dredge up the pain of their childhood experiences, which they desperately try to escape. To shield themselves from this pain, they resort to tactics like hiding, gaslighting, and projecting, all in an attempt to fulfill their fundamental need, to feel significant and recognized. This need drives their every action. My dear friends, I trust that what I shared here strikes a chord within you. It's crucial to understand that we're not advocating for stooping to the narcissist's level and engaging in their toxic behaviors. No, dealing with them requires a strategic and thoughtful approach. You must strip away the very thing they crave the most, validation. This is how you dismantle their power over you. It's a tactic that confounds them and allows you to reclaim your own strength. However, executing this strategy isn't always easy. It requires reaching a point where this person no longer holds sway over your emotions and psyche. You must have faith in your ability to thrive without their presence. This entails redirecting your focus and energy away from them, paving the way for your own growth and healing. Remember, this is your journey, and you have the power to shape it according to your terms. Don't allow yourself to remain ensnared in their web of manipulation. You deserve a future free from their influence, where your own needs and desires take center stage. This is what true liberation looks like. Thank you all for tuning in, my dear friends. I sincerely hope that this discussion has provided you with valuable insights. Until we meet again, take care and farewell. The narcissists begin to sense that their mask is slipping, and you're seeing through their facade. Their usual bag of tricks no longer distracts or impresses. They're left with a choice: be ignored or be dismissed. It's widely understood that narcissists thrive on attention of any kind. Neglect and criticism strike a particularly painful chord because they bruise their fragile egos and trigger deep-seated shame. But let's be honest, they'd brought it upon themselves. So, what do? They pick fights with you to assert their superiority, playing the classic big me, tiny you game. In most cases, it's almost laughable. Unless, of course, you're dealing with the more dangerous breed of narcissists who resort to violence when backed into a corner. Now let's talk about the kind of person who sends a narcissist running for cover. It's the one who sees through their victim act and refuses to play along. In the grand scheme of things, narcissists are just terrible to each other. They're all twisted individuals who derive pleasure from making others suffer. So, wouldn't it be poetic justice if they turned their toxic behavior on each other, especially those malignant narcissists? However, some people find it more entertaining to harm the vulnerable than to help them. It's a twisted logic where they believe they're immune to consequences, allowing them to ruin lives and careers without repercussions of their own. Narcissists often strut around with an inflated sense of self-worth and entitlement. Their knack for projecting an air of superiority, taking undue credit, and deflecting blame is often seen as the secret sauce to their professional success. Consequently, those lacking in self-awareness often become unwitting targets for narcissistic manipulation. The insatiable hunger of narcissists for validation drives them to exploit and manipulate anyone within their reach. To them, those who show compassion are easy pickings. However, there are instances where they end up causing trouble for the wrong person. Contrary to the narcissist's belief, having empathy doesn't automatically equate to weakness. Sure, some individuals may be more open to persuasion, and those with a strong capacity for empathy are often compassionate and giving. Yet, there are those who can swiftly toggle their empathy switch. This adaptability is where the real strength lies. It's crucial to know when to turn off our empathy faucet when we recognize someone is simply draining us dry. Narcissists embody toxicity with their self-centeredness, manipulation, and lack of empathy, making them exceedingly difficult to connect with. However, not everyone deserves our sympathy, and we must guard against being taken advantage of. In this video, I delve into the psychology behind why narcissists are drawn to certain personality types. Mistreating someone simply because they're gentle or empathetic is unjustifiable. Narcissists struggle to comprehend that affable individuals don't have to tolerate abuse to maintain their pleasant demeanor. Initially, victims of love bombing may extend the benefit of the doubt to the narcissist, but once their deceit becomes apparent, chaos ensues. However, these individuals are not spineless. They bravely confront the narcissist about their harmful behavior, unafraid to see through their deception and face the truth head-on. To recognize true sufferers, just observe how they refuse to magnify their pain with others' sympathy. Such individuals become a thorn in the narcissist's side, causing regret for ever engaging with them, as they can't be deceived or manipulated any longer. Everyone responds uniquely to adversity. Some opt to distance themselves from the narcissist, while others seek revenge actively. If justice seems delayed, it's natural to feel disillusioned and enraged. Seeking retribution, they expose the narcissist's humiliation publicly, or may resort to physical retaliation or damaging their possessions. Financially victimized, they air their grievances publicly or take legal action to rectify the situation. While some individuals resort to extreme measures to confront narcissists, I don't endorse this as the most effective approach. It's natural to desire revenge after enduring pain from a narcissist. As demonstrated in this video, certain retaliatory actions can indeed push a narcissist to their breaking point. Among the many triggers for a narcissist's descent into depression, exposure and abandonment by those they sought to harm are prevalent. Sometimes, merely catching them off guard with substantial evidence of their behavior can lead to a moment of realization. However, given their tendency to justify their actions, it's unlikely they'll outgrow their self-centeredness. Narcissists struggle to understand why anyone would refuse to indulge their manipulations, and this rejection fuels their anger, instilling genuine fear in those who stand against them. Out of fear, some victims may feel it's too risky to take action against the perpetrator. They might resort to blaming the victim for the incident and portraying themselves as helpless victims to cover up their wrongdoing. In extreme cases, they might even wish harm upon the victim, preferring not to deal with them again. Dealing with lies, manipulation, or abuse is never pleasant, and some of us would rather confront the narcissist head-on than endure further suffering. It's like waking up from a deep slumber when we realize a narcissist has been manipulating us. By disappearing without a trace, we cleverly cut off their narcissistic supply, leaving them bewildered. To avoid future interactions with narcissists, we can embody the traits admired by others. That wraps up today's discussion. Wishing you all a wonderful week ahead. I want to express my sincere gratitude for your time and attention. If you found this video helpful, consider donating and sharing it with your social networks. Thank you. Dealing with a narcissist can indeed be a daunting and draining task, as their constant need for attention and admiration often leaves you feeling exhausted and frustrated. But fear not, as there are effective strategies to shield yourself and dismantle their manipulative tactics. In this enlightening video, we'll delve into 10 powerful methods to shut down a narcissist and regain control of your interactions. 1. Embrace facts and logic. When confronting a narcissist, focus on presenting concrete evidence and logical arguments that challenge their distorted perceptions. By sticking to facts, you undermine their attempts to manipulate the truth. Instead of getting entangled in emotionally charged battles, this approach helps neutralize their power. It's important to note that this strategy won't immediately change a narcissist's behavior. They may respond with deflection, denial, or anger. However, by consistently injecting factual information into their rhetoric, you sow seeds of doubt. Over time, narcissists may start to question their distorted views and, in surprising instances, reconsider their actions. 2. Maintain calmness and composure. Navigating a narcissist's manipulation can be overwhelming, as they possess a knack for pushing your buttons and provoking emotional reactions. They know precisely how to trigger you. However, one of the most effective ways to disarm a narcissist is to remain calm and composed. By doing so, you strip them of their power. Narcissists thrive on creating chaos and drama, deriving pleasure from the emotional turmoil they cause. By staying collected, you deny them this satisfaction. 3. Harness the power of humor. Picture this. You're engaged in a conversation with a narcissist. their self-absorbed monologue dominating the airwaves as usual. Instead of succumbing to frustration or seriousness, inject a well-timed joke or a light-hearted comment. In that instant, catch them off guard, exposing their self-absorption for all to see. However, use humor cautiously. Provoking or escalating the situation can backfire. The goal is to disarm rather than stoke further conflict. Keep your humor light and playful, avoiding anything mean-spirited or hurtful. By highlighting the absurdity of their self-centered behavior in a non-confrontational way, you achieve a small victory if you can provoke laughter, even at their expense. 4. Establish emotional boundaries. Narcissists thrive on eliciting emotional reactions and excel at exploiting vulnerabilities. However, maintaining emotional distance disrupts their manipulative tactics. It doesn't necessitate complete emotional detachment or aloofness. Rather, it involves erecting a protective barrier that shields you from their words and actions. By setting firm emotional boundaries, you safeguard your well-being while still engaging with the narcissist. Strike a delicate balance between involvement and resilience, ensuring your emotional fortitude remains intact. 5. Embrace assertive communication. In dealing with a narcissist, assertive communication emerges as a potent weapon to shut them down. Assertiveness involves confidently expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs without hesitation or excessive apologies. This approach is crucial because narcissists often prey on perceived vulnerabilities in others. By standing firm and embracing assertiveness, you signal that you are not a pliable target for manipulation. Stand tall, articulate your viewpoints, and let the force of your assertiveness silence the narcissist's maneuvers. 6. Keep thorough documentation. Narcissists excel at distorting the truth and manipulating perceptions. A highly effective strategy to counter their efforts is to meticulously document their behavior. This record serves as compelling evidence that carries significant weight. With a written account of their actions at hand, it becomes substantially more challenging for them to deny or twist reality. By diligently recording their behavior, you strip away some of their power, exposing their true nature and holding them accountable for their actions. This documentation empowers you to confidently confront their deception and shield yourself against their manipulative tactics. 7. Disengage and embrace no contact. Like master illusionists, narcissists command an unparalleled prowess in manipulation. They thrive on the adulation and dominance they secure, employing every stratagem within their arsenal to seize it. Their ceaseless pursuit of control and manipulation exacts a heavy toll, imperiling your very essence. This is precisely why embracing a state of no contact can metamorphose the game entirely. If feasible, it involves severing all channels of communication and interaction with the narcissist. By erecting an impregnable barrier between yourself and their venomous influence, you forge a sanctuary that shields you from their ceaseless machinations. 8. Evade their snares. Traversing the labyrinth of relationships with narcissists is akin to navigating a treacherous maze. Yet, a potent strategy to vanquish them decisively is by deftly dodging their ensnarements. These individuals revel in the intricate dance of psychological manipulation, employing tactics such as gaslighting, deflection, and projection to ensnare their prey. Equipping yourself with knowledge about these nefarious techniques and remaining vigilant against their machinations arms you with formidable tools to thwart their influence. By steadfastly evading their traps and vigilantly safeguarding your emotions, you can reclaim sovereignty over your psyche and fortify yourself against their pernicious sway. 9. Embrace unshakable self-assurance. Narcissists relish in the act of diminishing others and eroding their self-worth. However, possessing unyielding self-assurance and self-value can serve as a powerful shield against their onslaughts. Take a moment to celebrate your strengths, triumphs, and the distinct qualities that define you. Reflect on the remarkable milestones you've conquered and the invaluable contributions you bring to the table. By fortifying your confidence, you render yourself impervious to the narcissist's attempts to undermine your self-esteem. 10. Stay anchored in your own journey. Narcissists crave the spotlight and seek to bend everyone to their will. Employing various tactics, they strive to divert your focus from your own aspirations and desires. It's crucial to remain steadfast in your priorities. Continuously remind yourself of your aspirations and what holds true significance to you. When the narcissist endeavors to derail you, refuse to succumb to their manipulations. Stay resolute in your authenticity and unwaveringly pursue your goals. Do not allow their self-absorption to sway or derail your path. Keep your gaze fixed on your objectives and let their manipulative ploys ricochet off your steadfast determination. Remember, thwarting a narcissist requires resilience and determination. By embracing these 10 tactics, you can skillfully neutralize their sway. Never permit narcissists to erode your strength or jeopardize your emotional health. Stand firm, embrace your inherent value, and reject any attempts to chip away at your self-assurance through manipulation. You deserve to be honored and surrounded by supportive connections. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing for a treasure trove of insightful content, and don't miss out on another enlightening video. This is how narcissists manage those they can't manipulate. Navigating the narcissist's response. Once a narcissist realizes that you are genuinely interested in them, their usual tactics lose their effectiveness. Being nice no longer serves their agenda, and they understand that playing the victim won't elicit the desired sympathy from you. With your feelings no longer under their control, you become less valuable to them. However, this doesn't necessarily mean they will cease their interactions with you. Even if they can't manipulate you directly, they may attempt to exert influence